Okay, so I am here with Daisye Tutor. Tutor?
Yes,
Okay.
you said it correct.
Okay. Whew. Sometimes I say things I'm like, I did not pronounce that well.
Yeah, I do the same thing, but you got that one correct.
Well, Daisy is the star of Shook. And yeah, thank you for coming on and talking with us. I really appreciate that.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I literally just got off with speaking to Jen. She says hello.
Hi, she's so great. I love her so much.
And she told us how you yeah became a part of the production, which
Yeah,
is yeah, a little crazy.
it was a little crazy. Yeah, the whole thing was a little bit crazy.
So yeah, so you know someone asked you like, oh, do you want to send a tape in for this? Like, what did you think? Like, because you had you seen anything about the story when they asked you, or like?
Yeah, so I actually was friends with our cinematographer,
Hmm.
and he was prepping for another film that I was working on, and he put in a good word for me with Jin, and I had a meeting with her and Tara, and we got along. We liked each other. So they sent me the script. They asked me what I thought. They asked me to send it a tape, and I liked it, and they liked me, and it all worked out. But reading the script, I was very surprised at every turn. There's so many twists,
Yes.
and Jen is such an incredible director and an incredible writer. So the entire story just jumped off the pages, and I just had to be a part of it. And I'm just so thankful that they thought that I should have been a part of it too.
So when you like reading this, when you read a script, right? Do you read the whole of it, or are you reading so many pages to get a flavor and a feel? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, so when I read a script, I like to try to read all the way through. There's there's only so many well-written scripts, and those sort of from the very first page, they capture your attention, and you just know that it's an incredible story. um and But there's still there are some scripts that are like you read them and you're like, this is so strange, but then during the production and post and seeing the movie, you're like, oh, it all makes sense. So
Yeah.
I always try to give a little bit of a leeway there. So I like to read the entire script from beginning to end. And I like to picture myself as the character that I'm being considered for. I like to sort of do my research, and learn about the story, learn about the characters, learn about the director, the producer, everybody involved, just to really get a feel of what it's going to be like actually working with these people, actually working on this film. But yeah, this was a very quick read. I think I read Jen's script in like an hour and like a little bit under an hour. It was just so fast. It just like jumped right off the pages. And initially it was called IRL, like in
Yeah.
real life. So and then we changed it to Shook after we shot it. I still like to call it IRL though. Like, Shook, what is that? We changed this.
I was saying shock. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize it was a two O's. I thought it was, yeah, for
Yeah.
some reason my head was saying, oh, shock. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah. Shock. I mean, shock works just as well. It's shocking. The entire script is shocking. But yeah, yeah.
an hour is crazy. It takes me way longer to read stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess just the way that she had it. I mean, it was the shooting script that I read, so it was tight. It was ready to go. Every scene in that script is in the film, so it just was like bam, bam, bam. And I was like, whoa. And there's so many twists and turns. So you just want to keep going because you're like, wait a second, what? This isn't what I expected. So you want to find out what's going to happen next.
Mm. So were you a consumer of like makeup tutorials? Is that what you call those?
Makeup tutorials, yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, I like to look at, I like to look at, like house renovations when I like scroll through online. So makeup tutorials for me, that was a new world that I explored, preparing for Mia. And I found two or three that I felt really captured her essence or had pieces. And I sort of took little bits from each of them, and I like, you know, I scrolled all the way down on all of their content, and I really took my time to understand what a makeup artist on social media as an influencer, like where they're coming from, and what kind of content they create, and how they reach out to their fans. And it's a completely different world, so it was really fun for me to explore. I'm not in it, and I'm not in it still. I just jumped in for Mia, and it was really fun to really, really kind of, I don't know, like explore the internet, a different realm that I don't normally involve myself in.
So what did you think Mia needed to be? Right, when you read the script and you're like, okay, I'm gonna bring this to the role. Like, what did you think? All right, I can do this. I need to
Yeah.
do it like this.
So Mia for me, it was someone who wasn't or isn't a very deep person. She doesn't really do the hard emotional work. She definitely has never been to therapy, you know, like she's a person who likes to keep things on surface level. You know, she's very proud of the way that she looks because she's, you know, putting makeup on her face for millions of people every day. And I wanted to sort of capture a little bit of I wanted her to be kind of selfish. I wanted her to be, you know, a little bit unaware because she doesn't know her friends really. She doesn't really know who her people are. She just sort of fits into this category of good looking people and floats around, and I don't really think she has like a super, you know, good grasp on who she is. You know, she has goals. She wants to go to college. She wants to do all kinds of things, but she also isn't really thinking about other people. Like she never considers her sister, and like that's very.
Yeah, why didn't you do that? Huh? Why didn't you do that? It's
You
very
know,
upsetting. Are you gonna lie?
it's not
You
a
made
very
some
nice
bad
thing.
choices.
I know. She's just is one of those people who right here, right now, you know, the hottest, newest thing is most important to her, and the connections that she makes to people with people aren't necessarily what she's searching for in life.
Yes. And she's not really a dog person, it would seem.
Not a dog person. Not a dog person. Definitely, yeah, she does her best, but I would not trust Mia to watch my dog.
So to not give too much away, but what do you think of baseball bats right now?
Wow, that's a heavy question. I have a love-hate relationship with baseball bats. A very, very oh man, that scene was wild to shoot. Getting into that headspace of you know, taking a bat to myself without giving too much away.
Yes.
It was crazy. It was crazy. The whole game that Mia is involved in, that she doesn't really, she has zero power in this game, and so she just feels like she has to do these things. And there's not a lot of course she has to do a lot of, you know, like problem solving, but there's not a lot of deep thinking involved. There's not a lot of, wait a second, there's something else that we can do here. She just jumps the gun and tries to do her best, and she thinks that she's saving her friend. She thinks that she's doing a good job, but really, really, she just is not.
Yeah, there's what, so when you're doing those scenes, right? And you have to kind of project to the audience. Like, what were you thinking with that? Because, right, obviously there's a fear element, but then there's anxiety, there's, you know, just this tension and all of that. So, you know, to be able to offer that to the viewers, like,
Yeah.
what were your kind of things like, right, I need to do this? Like, what was the kind of things running through your head with all of that?
Yeah, so I'm a big on annotating. I was professionally trained as a theater actor. So I go through the script and I annotate every single line as far as what the thought process is for
Mhm.
Mia. So by the time I was on set, I had already been there, I'd gone there, done the hard work, gotten my mind, my headspace there. I really only had like 4 days to prepare for the role, but I spent all 4 of those days trying to understand what she would be thinking in each of these situations. And then we shot this over about 12 or 13 days. So there was an energy on set that was I was able to tap into and bring into Mia as well. Just the anxiety of making sure we get the shot. I'm the only actor on set, so there's anxiety around that as well. There's, you know, a lot of different energies flowing, and being able to take those and use them as a, you know, like a projection for Mia. That was super helpful.
Mm. So
And
do
Jen and
you,
I sat down too. She and I sat down and went through the entire script. And she was like, "This is what I'm thinking for this part. What are you thinking?" And we would do like sort of a collaboration. And then on set as well, I would be like, "Well, this is where I am, and this is what I think Mia would do. But what do you think?" And we would sort of go back and forth. And really, it was a really collaborative process.
ah,
Um, she's an incredible director, just so helpful and really hands-on and great with helping me get to the mindset, especially if I wasn't completely understanding it, or if I had something different, and her vision was, you know, a little bit different. So we were able to just sort of match up, and it was like a team. It was so great.
ah, cool. Now, how was it shot? Like, because there's a lot of emotion here. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So if you're not feeling it, filming it sequentially, right? And this is the crazy thing that I remember when I first started to, you know, talk to actors and directors and stuff. You've learned that a film isn't shot how you see it, right?
Yes.
And it's just like, wait, so you shot the middle last? And it's be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
wait, huh? How
Yeah.
does that? So it's just like, when you're shooting and there is all this different emotions, like in some scenes, you know, early on you're happy, then there's the tension, the fear,
Yeah.
you know, so how do you go from one scene to the other if it's not sequential, like?
This is
And
where my annotating comes in handy, because I also my well, everyone on set was so helpful. Everyone on set was aware of what scenes we were doing, and like I said, Jen and I, we had a shot list, and you know, it's all over the place. So I had to go back to my script and see what happened before, what happened after, where we are now, and then pull myself into that mindset. But just knowing Mia back and forth, knowing the pages back and forth, knowing it all like the back of my hand. That was super helpful. But the costumer, you know, wearing the correct outfit, you know, sometimes I would have blood on my sleeve, or it would be scene 12 and there's no blood, or there's lots of tears, or there's no tears. So the makeup artist and the costume designer were really helpful with those elements. And then Jen was super helpful with the emotional side. And yeah, yeah. Yeah, but jumping back and forth was intense. That was pretty crazy. There was one day where it was just like Mia crying sequences. So there's a lot of that in the film, and it was even like for me personally emotionally tolling. And I went home at the end of the day and I was like, I can't feel my face. But that's the fun of it, and it keeps you on your toes when you're switching up scene by scene and going back and forth. So I really enjoy it.
do you use like music to help shift the mood? So once you've done a day like that, is there a certain song you might put up? Is it like, I need to feel happiness?
Yeah, right. Yeah, after like being so sad and crying. Yeah, I love music. I'm a huge fan of Mac Miller and Modest Mouse as well. Two completely sides of
Oh,
the spectrum.
okay. Yeah,
Those
yeah.
those are sort of like my go-tos. They've floated in and out of my own personal life. So I have, connections where, I hear a song and I can imagine myself in a happy place. But also my boyfriend at the time was cooking me dinner every single night. And that was so helpful for coming down, decompressing, coming back into my happy place, like my just like where I am, which is a very happy place. So, so yeah, that was super helpful.
Nice. And to really get into those emotions, right? Do you utilize, past like personal experiences? Be like, oh, I remember the time when blah blah did that, or oh, and I fell and that, and to be like, okay, and visualize that and be like, okay, and see, you can pull on that to feel, or is it just you've because obviously you've been doing this for a while, so you can now like you understand how to bring those emotions forth without needing a trigger.
You know, I think both would be true. I definitely have little files in my brain that I can pull out to go back to that memory, and meditation really helps with that. I grew up with animals, so I grew up with dogs, cats, and we grew up in the country. And sometimes they would run away, sometimes they would get hit by cars, and so that particular instance of my life, that moment, I was able to bring those images to my mind as Mia, because there's dogs involved, there's sadness with dogs involved. So that was really helpful. But I do like to imagine myself in that particular instance, with Mia as Mia. I like to go there and what would I actually do in this instance? What would I be thinking? How would I be feeling? And I like to try to keep that as genuine as possible, those emotions. But definitely past memories of my own personal experience for sure help bring those to the forefront.
Because I think that's something you always wonder, right? And
Yeah.
you hear a lot of different kind of ways other actors and actresses utilize experience and music and just different things to get into those mind spaces. So it's always kind of be like, I wonder how they did that. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's so cool to be able to explore different emotions and to trigger them in yourself without actually experiencing the actual situation. It's my favorite part about acting is to be able to discover different ways that I could be if I went down a different path, or if I chose to do something different with my life. I think that is very interesting, and I think the human experience is the most fascinating thing, and how humans express and share their emotions. So watching other people also helps. Watching films of people who I am inspired by helps as well. But yeah, it's really fun to bring myself into that place.
I would say
Even though it's
when
stressful.
yeah, with the needles, right? I have to say, I at the end when you started doing multiple, that's what I would be like, because I'm thinking, just pick up more than one, Mia, more than one, and then you did like, but did you actually have to, break this? Like, was there actual
A
how
real
did that?
needle? No,
Like,
we had an amazing visual effects person on set, and we were able to do practical VFX while we were actually filming, which I always think practical VFX are the coolest. Of course, the computer generated ones. That's where you get the explosions and the weird looking. But we had props of needles. We had real ones and we had fake ones, and it was very important to the prop director that I knew the difference because I was putting them on my skin, but the fake needle retracted into the syringe
instead it looked real. It did look real.
The production value, the team, they all were all in. Everybody was just so on board and wanting to make this film look as good as possible. So while we were filming it, Jen, actually, that's her least favorite part. She hates needles. I have this picture of her. She's in the corner, the monitor, she's sitting on the ground, the monitor is up here, and she's covering her face, and I'm like injecting myself with needles, and she's like, I can't watch. I know it's not real, but I can't watch. So that was, I mean, like, even on set, it was such a crazy scene. And then the multiple needles, that was pretty intense too. And I never actually inject or put a needle in my skin. So this was new to me. I kind of wish I would have had more time to prep, because I would have gone to my friend who's a dental assistant and asked her to show me what it actually looks like and what the actual process of that would be. But I don't think Mia would have had that training. So I think it ended up playing off really well.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't know the Bee Gees, so I don't think she would have known how to do a needle.
Yeah, that's true. You're exactly right.
How many takes was the balcony scene at the end? How much did you have to do for that one?
I had a stunt double.
Oh,
I know. I was like, let me jump off, and they were like, you're too precious to us. We only have one of you. We can't let you jump off this balcony. But one of my personal favorite things to do is go skydiving. So I'm like, let me jump off things, let me jump into things, let me just send it all the way. But everyone on set was super concerned for my safety, which I appreciate and I think was probably the best. But I was like, she's jumping onto a mat, let me do that.
Like, why do you care about me? I want to do it.
I'm just an actor, let me jump. My mom is like, if someone jumps off a bridge, are you? And I'm like, absolutely, let's go.
And I did it last week.
Yeah. Actually, during quarantine last year, I was getting very antsy. I skydived like 4 times because I was like, I need to leave my house. So I went as far away from my house as I could. But
how many jumps have you done?
Skydiving?
Yeah.
A total, I've gone 6 times.
Tandems, or are they?
They're tandems, but the last 3 jumps, my tandem instructor was like, why are you doing tandem? You need to just go solo. So I guess that's my next move, is jumping solo.
Nice. I've only done the indoor, which is,
how was that?
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
Such a cool experience.
Much
you can do flips and stuff in those.
Yeah.
Were you able to like spin around and like move your body in the air?
I feel it's like my ice skating. Sometimes I am great, other times just nothing but ice, right? So sometimes you're like, I've got it. Got it. And you do a little thing, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I've lost it. And it's like, boom.
Out of control. I feel that.
It's the rush that's just whew, crazy.
That's why I was like, let me jump. But I think actually it only took 3 or 4 takes to get her jump.
Okay.
And yeah. So she was great. She was an excellent stunt double.
It looks like we're coming up on time. Kevin, are you good, or you want one more question?
Oh, can we do one more?
Sure.
Okay, splendid. Okay, so how different, because, Glass House is creepy, scary, weird. Like, how different was it to do this one?
You know, this was very like a natural acting style, with a lot of gore, a lot of blood, and yeah. Yeah, this was just you know, you have to take the scary moments and try to make them as real as possible, like the someone's in your house, the door's unlocked, what's going on, you know, those are real fears that people have, you know. Someone could just break into your house, and that's something that was really fun to tap into for Mia, is to really bring those fears to life.
And then you just have to, you know, make sure you're not thinking about it when you're actually at home. You're like, what was that noise? Like, what's going on?
Yes. Yeah, you know, sometimes it's a little freaky. But you know, I think I could handle an intruder.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Nice. Well, you jump out of planes, so
Yeah, I'm good. Jump out my window.
Well, thank you both very much. We greatly appreciate your support of the film, Kevin.
No worries. It was great. I really, I loved it, and I appreciate your time. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you, Kevin.
This is great. So, hope Thursday, right? That's when it drops.
Yes.
Yeah. Hope you know, you get a lot of good support online from it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
All right. I look forward to whatever you do next.
Yay. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.